Well, hello, community supporters, ONEHOPE lovers. It's myself and my good buddy, Dan Gora.
How's everybody doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Dan. Dan, you've been kicking butt here. I made a little joke today on our other live with the community about you serving these drinks to me poolside, which would have been a lot cooler.
Yes.
But maybe you deserve a poolside drink. So maybe the next one, we can come poolside to everybody, and I'll bring you out drinks. I'll bring you sunscreen. I'll kind of play the role of operations manager, just like you do around here.
You're quite a guy, Jake. Cheers to that.
Hey.
Well, I think our next one's in a couple weeks, so I'll bookmark that on my calendar.
Let's do it. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Look at those bubbles, huh?
Yeah.
So did I hear we're doing a little dads and grads, huh?
Dads and grads.
So right now we're on the grads part, right?
We're on the grads part. So we picked two
good.
wines to taste with you all this afternoon. What we're drinking right now is our Silver Shimmer bottle, our Brut. It's a California Brut, and it is it's 4:30? It's 4:17 right now on a Friday, so I think this is the right way to.
This is the right way. Whether it's 4:17 your time or 7:17 your time, there is no problem with drinking this. It works for either one of those times. But if you're a graduate, let's say a college graduate, not that high school kids aren't known to pop a bottle of sparkling here and there, but we're only speaking to you college graduates out there who might have missed your graduation. We're feeling for you. We wanted to give you love. Look, there's people going through challenges that are bigger than missing your graduation. That said, it doesn't make it any less hard. So for all of you out there who worked your butt off to graduate, this sparkling is for you, and this cheers is for you. Cheers. And so we're cheersing again. Yeah. And Dan, what are you getting in there? I'm going to tell you what I'm getting. I think this is a very, very pronounced taste in here.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I get is just like those bubbles on my tongue, which I just love from a texture perspective. I just love how that just it's so fresh in the mouth.
I agree. And actually that freshness is like biting into a big green apple. I know you like your apples. Dan's definitely an apple a day guy. I'm not going to waste a lot of airtime on this, but I do eat one apple a day. I've done it for a very long time, and I believe in that. So yeah, I get that apple too. This is all green apple. You get a little pear on it. It's green apple's bigger on the front of your mouth. You're going to get that sourness, and then the pear pops in with a little bit of sweetness. You're tasting that sweetness on the tip of your tongue. Tannin's what you get back here in your cheeks here. You're not going to get a lot of tannin on this, obviously. On the wine that we're going to go to next for dads, you're going to get a lot of tannin on it. But you're going to get that sweetness. You're going to get that apple. But you're also going to feel it with the acidity. This is a really nice, well-balanced sparkling. Great for any occasion, but especially if you just graduated and you're popping a bottle on a virtual graduation celebration, this is the bottle you should be popping. Yeah. We got it in silver, gold. I know we got the rainbow bottle that is about to come back pretty soon. Yes. Rumor has it. I don't know. Rumor has it.
I don't know. I know a guy that might know, but
we should call him after this and check in.
But yeah, for Pride Month, I think next month that might be coming back.
That might be coming back. Don't give any secrets away, Dan.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm a Volt. So I don't blow any secrets around here.
So on the back here, not surprisingly, you've got green apple. Yep. You've got luscious pear. So I left the luscious part out, but pear nonetheless. And then refreshing bubbles was what Dan tasted right on the back. And sure enough, it is here on the back label. Also on the nose, you're getting a little bit of tropical aroma. So tropical can mean kiwi, can mean mango. It can be any fruit that you really smell in there. But this is going to take you to like Hawaii or to an island when you smell it. Oh. The taste is going to bring you to the apple a day, keeps the doctor away. And through the mid palate, it's a delicious sparkling wine that I think everybody loves. So so cheers to the grads out there, and we're with you. You earned it. There's some of you out there who aren't, usually when we're thinking graduates, you're thinking 21, 22, 23, younger 20s. But there are graduates out there as well who went back and got their master's degree or went back to college after a career or 10 or 15 years and worked really hard to get a chance to go back and get their college degree. And so this is for no matter what age you are out there, you worked really hard to graduate, and we're proud of you. And so this cheers, like I said, is for you. Go out and get yourself one of these bottles, or have somebody buy it for you for a graduation.
Yeah, the latter. College is hard. It took me 5 years.
It took you 5?
Yeah. I'm not trying to hide any secrets here, but
dude, that's a super senior. If I got to go back and do it again, I would have taken my time.
It was the best year. It was so good. I just wasn't that forced. I needed just one more, then I was ready to enter the world.
My parents were like, if you stay any longer, you pay for everything, and you're an adult.
Yes.
And they were helping me out at the time, so that lit a fire under me.
Yes.
And I started working my senior career in a major way, getting ready for that. So
yeah, that's a really good segue into the dad's portion of this, because I know Frank personally, and he's kind of one of my favorite people. He's not my father, it's Jake's father, Frank. He's one of my favorite people.
We call him Frank Fridays. He's not here right now because my dad's 68, and he's not supposed to be out and about too much on work sites and things like that during these times. But almost every Friday over the last few years, he's been here helping us out. He's a real inspiration. One of the hardest work ethics. I remember at 5 a.m., little story for you, Dan. Every morning I would hear that coffee grinder going off, and it would be like, we had like one of those old crappy coffee grinders. And I swear even days where he wasn't making coffee, he just did that to let me know I'm waking up a couple hours before you. Yeah. I work my butt off so that you can live in this house and I can put food on the table. And so that's always inspired me how hard my dad worked. And now it's come full circle, and he's been helping us build this place around here, volunteering on his days off. Yeah. He takes a day off every other Friday. He's a great man. And I know your dad, Albert. I've known him for a long time, and he's a great dude too. Tell us about Albert a little bit.
Albert is a pretty awesome dude. He's a funny dude. He's, I think, one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
Is that where you and Sarah get your senses of humor?
I mean, maybe. My mom's pretty funny too, so it's probably a good combo. My mom too. But yeah, Albert is the youngest of 5 siblings. I'm the youngest of 4. He had 4 older female siblings, so he was the last. I think he's 63, I want to say. Yeah, he's just a great dude. It's early for Father's Day, but Albert, one thing about him, he drinks his wine out of a coffee mug. That is one thing. Anyone who's ever met him, he has wine glasses. Not sure what he uses them for. That's
we should be drinking this cab out of a coffee.
I know, but it's been a long day. I should have thought about that.
You know what, Dan? While I'm chatting a little bit, if you wanted to go run and get a coffee mug,
I think
you can do it.
Be right. And then we'll get into part 3 of this.
Okay, go grab the coffee mug. Yeah, I'll talk with them a little bit about this. On this cab, this is we got our Oakville Cab here. This is just a delicious wine. Just a little close up here. We'll get a little closer. You got 130 foot to 1,000-foot elevations where this vineyard is. And it's right in the heart of Napa, central Napa. Oakville is just south of the Rutherford AVA. As a reminder, AVA is American Viticultural Area. And Oakville is known for making some of the great wines that Napa's ever had. Brands like Opus One, brands like Silver Oak, brands like Screaming Eagle. I mean, those are some pretty good brands that Oakville boasts. The AVA was established in 1993, so it's one of the younger AVAs. It's about your age, huh, Dan?
It's 1 year younger than me. Not 1 year younger. Myself, 92. Anyone out there?
So it's 1 year younger. So on your first birthday, this AVA was probably coming about.
That's why I like this one so much.
This Cabernet grows in this gravelly alluvial soil. And the mix of that and like this volcanic ash, you wouldn't even actually think vineyards could grow out of it. But it creates this super nutrient-rich area. And when you look at the Oakville bench, it's getting the silt and nutrients coming down from the Mayacauna mountain range and bringing all those nutrients and all of that quality food for the soil and for those grapes. And it's why that region just makes unbelievable wines. We're so lucky to be neighbor regions with our vineyard property here, which is where Dan and I are coming from you. And on this one, take a little sip from your cup, Dan. And I'm going to share, so I get a lot of blackberry on this, and blackberry cobbler is one of the notes. So I think blackberry cobbler is really just saying, hey, there's a touch of sweetness on it, but you're getting that real vibrant masculine blackberry. It's a big wine with serious tannin, but you're getting a silky tannin, a more delicate finish. It's decadent but delicate is what I would say. D&D, decadent and delicate. And then dried red currant. Some people would say they get a little bit of cranberry in it potentially, and then or lullaberries are probably an even like less known fruit that has a similar effect where you get kind of that dry finish. And then that finish is a little bit of that vanilla spice. And that's really coming from the oak aging that goes on here. So what about you, Dan? What do you get on this?
I love this wine because it opens up so well. After it's been in your glass for a few minutes, it's like, it's bursting with flavor, and everything Jake said, all those things just come to life. And give it a swirl, give it some time. And I one of the best parts about being here on the property is like, there'll just be like a little bit of wine left in the bottle at the end of the night. And I'll just give it a taste a few hours after it's been open, and it's like so awesome. And it's really cool to experience the wine through different times, especially after it's been in bottle, and then even just a little bit after it's been open.
The best stuff that goes on is in the back pantry here. Dan, I catch Dan all the time, like eating the last little scraps of food, tasting them, drinking the last little bit of the bottle and stuff. So he makes sure that nothing goes to waste.
Yeah.
Waste not, want not. Is that how it goes?
That sounds about right.
Something like that. Want not, waste not. I don't know.
And
something like
that does go back to my father, because my grandmother, she was, if anyone knew her, Grandma Cecilia, she did not let anyone waste anything, whether it was food or wine at the house. So that's what I really bring here to the property, is just to take care of just a little bit last couple ounces.
The last little remnants.
And it's wine education too, just so I can keep my skills sharp in that back pantry.
I'll tell you what would go perfect with this, Dan, was you created something last night that blew my mind. Dan got this brownie bowl tray from Williams Sonoma. They gifted him because they love Dan.
I love them.
Dan has a Instagram, Cooking for One, and it's at Cooking for One on Instagram. And when he's here, it's at Cooking for ONEHOPE. So it's kind of this fun marriage. And they follow him like all of us do. And so they send him this brownie bowl tray where you can bake brownies in it and you flip them over and it creates a bowl. But Dan took that to the next level. And he cooked, what did you do, cookies in it last night?
So we did cookies. And so we do a cookie at the estate here. Every time someone visits the vineyard, we try and get this cookie in their hands. And it's a combination of semi-sweet chocolate chunks, some vanilla toffee, some miniature peanut butter cups, and some walnuts.
Dan, you're killing me, Matt. You're killing me.
I know, we didn't. I should have brought some today, but we had them last night. And like Jake said, we put that in that bowl format, and then put some ice cream in the bowl, and with like some chocolate syrup with that wine we were drinking last night.
Yeah,
that's really something.
It's perfect. And when you're mixing that vanilla ice cream with the vanilla spice, and you got blackberry cobbler going on with chocolate chip cookie bowl. I mean, this is decadent, delicate. It can go with a big piece of red meat. It can go with almost any type of chicken or meat.
Yeah.
And then what'd you say? It goes with what? Dan. With Dan. It does. It goes with Dan. It pairs well with Dan.
It doesn't say that on the bottle, but I have a special relationship with it.
And I just close up by saying, like, Oakville is such a unique region of Napa. It's similar to actually all the microclimates that are here, but it has this perfect climate. It's really a viticultural gem. And we do highlight those on our iconic collections. We really show you the region where it is. We try to be really educational about it, the elevations of the vineyard, and get pretty detailed. And around this edge, Dan, I don't know if you know what wood this is, but this is walnut. It's thinly stripped walnut that goes around it. It's beautiful. You've got the wax cartouche up here that highlights the Oakville region. It is one of our more pricey wines. I'm not drinking this every night. I'm drinking our Vintner collection at my table. I know you aren't, because I know what you get paid. So I know you can't afford a $100 bottle of wine every day.
Like I said, pretty much only in the pantry.
Yeah.
Which is a great place at ONEHOPE. I'm not going to lie. I'm not complaining. And there's a lot of wines that flow through that pantry. So cheers to the pantry.
This bowl's big, but also, sensitive. And delicate wine reminds us of our dads. Dan and I were talking about how our dads are great men's men, but also were big lovers of us and gave us all the love we needed. So cheers to Albert, Frank, and all the other great dads that are out there. Cheers to all the dads. We're a little early on Father's Day, I know, but now's the time to be wrapping your head around what you're going to get dad for Father's Day. That's the bottle of wine I'm bringing my dad. Swear to it. I'll take a picture with it. And we're going to give Albert one of those bottles too, Dan. That one's on me. Big Al gets one of those.
Now that we've documented it, like we really can't forget or not follow through.
Yeah, Dad, this is your video contract that we are following through on this. Dan and I are. Okay. Yeah. So Dan, we're going to do something fun here that we're testing out. And it sounds like we're going to take some questions. But tell me what's going. Can I spit in this? Is this a spit bucket?
No, it's not a spit bucket. It looks like one. Okay. So in this bucket, I have some questions. And so Jake here is a busy dude. And I have a lot of things that, I'm kind of like wondering about him, about questions about ONEHOPE and kind of our history, some wine tasting things that now that we have this time on this tasting, I'm like, it's the time that I can get all my questions in. And so what I've done is I surveyed our vineyard team here up in Rutherford. So I have some questions from them, some questions from me that I'm just going to blindly pick out of here and ask Jake with you all. And also, if you have any questions about wine tasting, about our Napa property, about ONEHOPE, the causes we support, comment, and we're gonna answer those questions. So can I get rolling?
Yeah, we've got somebody standing by helping us filter through the questions. We won't be able to answer all of them, but post them up. Yeah. Dan, dig into a few of these. You know you're not supposed to spring surprises on me, but I'm ready for this. You have a lot of questions in there, man.
So you are a dynamic individual. So I know you're ready for this, Jake. Okay. I know you're ready.
Let's see what we got.
Okay, so this is just a wide variety of things. This first one, Jake, what do you think of the screw cap?
Love the screw cap. Yeah, I love the screw cap. The reason why we decided to go the screw cap on the Vintner collection was we didn't want wines to be intimidating to people. And these are our entry-level wines. And we wanted them, while you're talking about the wine, your focus should be on the why. Your focus should be on the tasting notes. If you don't have them memorized or you haven't had a lot of experience with that wine, on the back, you got those cliff notes on the Vintner collection. And it's also actually a better closure, especially for wines that you're going to drink within the first few years. As you start to get to aging wines, corks are just as good of a closure, and people will argue back and forth which one's better. Also, corks are going extinct, right? Cork trees are going extinct. Yeah. So our part for sustainability, we love really high-end cork, and on wines like these, we still use really high-end cork. But when we think about, a little bit larger volume, entry-level price point, I think screw caps are totally acceptable these days, and people are starting to realize that from a chemistry standpoint, the wine actually keeps better within the first couple of years. You have less of a chance of having some sort of cork taint or having some sort of, oxygenate the wines. And when you get oxidation, that's when you get wines that are going off. And so that's why I love screw cap. Okay, I love it.
Okay, yeah, I'm a fan of the screw cap. It's just so convenient too. I definitely love the experience of opening a bottle, but the convenience and just being able to crack that open and focus, like you said, focus on the causes we support, focus on the tasting notes. I think that's what's important.
That's the important part is sharing your why, not worrying about funneling with a bottle opener, and like it's nerve-wracking. Even me opening in front of people, you start shaking and whatever. This, you just pop it open. And by the way, if you're on the beach, or you're on a kayak like I was this last weekend, screw cap is your best friend. You don't even have to bring a bottle opener with you. So, yes. All right, next one.
Okay, next question. Who is the last person you called? Who is the last person you were on the phone with today?
Tommy. Tom's over in Wyoming. For those of you who don't know Tommy, he's as good a partner as you could ask for. Co-founded the business with us, protects us behind the scenes a lot. Tom works on a lot of the compliance. He's the one working on getting our license in Kentucky so we can open up and start having cause entrepreneurs there. And I try to talk to Tom almost every day. Tom's one of those guys who just settles me down, gets me squared up. If I'm having a good day or a bad day, I want to call Tom at least once. So I got my call in with him. He's out there with his family. He's still working a little bit, but he's out on a beautiful ranch, getting a little bit of relaxation in and some really good quality time with his family. But he was nice enough to break off to join our Founders Friday and take a call from me so he could settle me down at the end of the week before I went into here. So.
Nice. I love Tom. And for those of you who don't know, Tom is an amazing pizza maker. He has some wicked skills in pizza. He's been here. He's made a dough with us with Mike Weber, who's also a leader in ONEHOPE. There's a lot of really good foodies in our.
We have a lot of foodies on our team.
I love, which is so fun.
Tommy and Mike are amazing pizza makers, and Garrett actually makes a great sous chef that runs around, does all the manual labor stuff. Good. Like he's really good at bringing bowls of sausage and pepperoni. Like just does all the labor stuff and like moves heavy things around. While I would call maybe more Tom and Mike like the artist and the true chefs. Garrett makes like a great manual laborer for them.
Yes. Okay. Awesome.
Cheers to you, Garrett. We're watching you.
We miss you guys.
Yeah. That was a little bit of like an elbow at Garrett because he's been talking smack about how more people watch his tastings than you and me, which we know is not true. Yeah. Give me some love, by the way, if you're feeling Dan and I a little more than the Garrett and whoever show.
I mean, Jake, you just can't fight the truth. That's just simply not true. But I love those.
Garrett,
guys,
I'm watching you. Garrett, are you commenting in the comments right now? Are you getting angry?
Yeah, Garrett, you can ask us questions and we'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
If you want to know. So if you're out there, keep asking questions. I have a lot of questions. I'm excited. I'm excited to ask, but feel free. The sky's the limit here, people. It's Friday. Okay, so next question. Can you tell us the first cause or causes that ONEHOPE supported?
Sure. We had 3 causes initially: a Chardonnay towards breast cancer, a Merlot towards AIDS, and a Cabernet towards autism. We've effectively kept the Chardonnay and the Cabernet the same. The Merlot ultimately it went from AIDS to pediatric AIDS to life-saving vaccines. And over time, that one's evolved. But along the way, it's always been global disease, really, as a focus. Yeah. We've provided tens of thousands, I think almost 100,000, maybe over 100,000 life-saving vaccines because of the Merlot. We've provided tens of thousands of clinical trials for women with breast cancer and also mammograms, which is what we were funding early on for early prevention. And then with Cabernet, we funded ABA therapy for thousands of children as well. And all of those have been really meaningful. I chose those 3 causes early on for very specific reasons. Chardonnay, 1 in 8 women in the US are diagnosed with breast cancer. I had friends, moms who had breast cancer. Merlot, I grew up in the Bay Area during the AIDS and HIV epidemic. So that one hit very close to home. And my mom had friends and coworkers and stuff like that who were very impacted by that cause. And I actually ended up writing in AIDS Life Cycle, the largest fundraiser in the community of fundraising for HIV and AIDS. It's the single largest fundraiser in America, single fundraiser. Awesome. That's a walker ride like that. It's a 600 plus mile or 500 plus mile ride. Good. And I did it with your sister, by the way.
Yeah, wow.
And all of our co-founders. And I did it a second year as well. And then Cabernet for Autism had some very close family friends that are like family to me, as well as one of our early partners, little brothers that had been touched by autism. And so really was just learning about that. And at the time it was 1 in 266 children, which was a big number for me, having not heard about it at that time. I watched that number come down to like as high as 1 in 90, then 1 in 60 kids that are somewhere on the autism spectrum. And so this is really something that I knew was going to impact the next generation and probably my kids and their friends someday. So those were the first three causes, followed shortly after by our Zinfandel towards the troops, nice, which today is Team Rubicon, and our Sauv Blanc towards the environment. And it is worth shouting out, since we're on the topic of Zinfandel, which was our 4th/5th SKU with Sauvignon Blanc. My dad also served in the military. He met my mom in Germany in the army. Frank is also a veteran, like my grandfather and great grandfather. And so also to all the servicemen and women out there, always a good cheers for you guys. I'll cheers to this Cabernet to all the veterans out there, and especially the veteran grads and dads. So, all right, let's take one more,
Right.
and then we'll go to the board.
Okay.
If Sabrina has something interesting. Is she getting anything?
Yes. So we got one, and this is a good hard-hitting question. Jake, cats or dogs?
Cats or dogs?
I'm so glad someone asked this one. And
is that my wife calling it?
I think,
Megan?
I don't know if this is anonymous or not.
Under a guise of anonymous.
I kind of know the answer. I'd love if you could just tell us your answer and maybe some stories around how you got to where you are in your life today with one of those.
Okay, so knowing that my wife is probably going to see this or at least hear about it, I would say a tie, which is a total cop-out. I love dogs, and I actually grew up not liking cats because I was allergic to them. And the first few cats I ever met were not very friendly cats. They were kind of like the cats, you know? And so I grew up with a dog, a golden retriever that I named after the first street we walked her on. Her name was Marigold. And Marigold was the street right next to my street, Wisteria, and it kind of ran into it. And we took Marigold on a walk. She was a rescue. And just the sweetest, most beautiful dog. She was with us through my whole childhood. My mom would walk her every single morning. And I fell in love with golden retrievers and dogs that way. And then my wife comes along and she's an animal lover through and through. No matter what it is, she probably would say even on dogs and cats too. But she was the first time I ever owned a cat. And our first cat is a little bit of one of those standoffish cats and maybe a vampire in another life. And she is, I call her a demon cat, actually. And so that made me not love cats that much. But then she went, while I was away on one of those longer business trips, actually out running around, spending time doing tastings with our different cause entrepreneurs. And she adopted these the cutest little kittens ever, Rosie and River. And Rosie and River have totally instilled and like re-inspired me about how wonderful cats are. And I love those two little cats. They're little snugglers. They're so sweet. And so they've kind of pulled cats all the way up to even with dogs. I love animals in general. I love cats and dogs. And so yeah, I'm going to go with even, but earlier in my life, it was dogs. And now cats are starting to catch up and maybe even surpass them because of Rosie and River.
I feel similarly because I was definitely a dog person growing up and didn't really have any interest in cats. No offense to the cat people out there, but then I met you and Megan and I met your cats. More specifically, the nicer ones, Rosie and River. Longer story about the other one. A little mean.
They're like little dogs. They're snuggly and purr.
Really sweet, and they're so cute.
They're so cute.
They're so cute.
So you might see them running around. They're on Megan's Instagram. Always has the cats on them. She takes more pictures of those cats than me and her for sure.
Yeah, well deserved though. Those are really cute, and she rescued them too.
She rescued them. She couldn't help it. She had to rescue both of them. She really went there to adopt one cat. I came home and she had adopted two, and she put one in my arms, River, and she just started purring, and I was in love with them ever since. And I was like, we're definitely keeping both of them.
Yeah, I remember that day, and I got a text just of the photo of the two cats while Jake was away. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, I think she kind of like window shops at shelters sometimes.
Yeah.
She was doing that day.
Kind of window shops.
Kind of up until that point, yeah.
If you want to find Megan, she's hanging out at the vet or the Napa shelter, pet adoption shelter. Yeah.
And then so I go, oh, those are so cute. And then no joke, 30 minutes later, she goes, they're in my car. We're going home.
Dan, you could have helped me. No, that was good. That's one of the best things that's happened.
Yeah.
Let's take one more question, and then you got another one?
We got one right here. So this is to Jake. Jake, I'm going back to school at 58 to get my certificates in viticulture and enology. Any advice or words of wisdom?
That's amazing. First off, Sabrina, shoot me a note of who that is, because I want to give him a shout out. Do you have the name on that person?
We don't have the name right now.
Okay, Sabrina will shoot us it. So what's the actual question of it?
Any advice or words of wisdom as she's going back to get these certificates?
Well, you know what? First off, cheers to you for being brave. You're never too old to learn. I'm a believer in consistent learning throughout your life. I'm still learning as much as ever today. And so first and foremost, cheers to you out there. We'll give you a shout out. What's the name on it?
Name, Vern Smith.
Vern Smith. Hey, Vern, that's
Wow.
awesome.
That's awesome.
I think I know Vern Smith. I think he's an old childhood friend's dad, actually.
Oh, wow.
If it's the same Vern, if it's you, that's really cool, dude. And if it is, it's one of my little sister's good friend's dads, which is super cool if it is. If it isn't you, it's the same name, then cheers to you, whoever, Vern Smith, the other Vern Smith. But either way, I don't have a lot of insights on that other than that you're going back for a reason. You're super passionate about wine. You obviously must love, even if you're not passionate about wine, if you're going to be a viticulturalist, you love plants, you love being in the vines. Really just enjoy it. You know, that's one of my regrets of school through college was some parts of it, you were kind of thinking of it as a chore versus as a luxury. Like if you get to go to school and you get to learn from some of the greatest thinkers in your space that you want to learn more in, that's a real luxury to get to learn at that kind of rate and to get to truly focus on just learning and being in the classroom. And so I would say embrace it. You probably at that age, you kind of actually understand how to be grateful for that. And you're coming from a place of like, wow, I get to go back and do this. And then the other thing I would say is spend time out in the vineyards. The Napa community, the wine community in general in the Central Coast, Sonoma and Napa is so welcoming. And if you go to some of these vineyards around, you ask somebody if you can shadow them or if you can spend a little extra time out there on top of your classes, you're going to learn more on the job like anything else in life than you would in a classroom. And so I'm sure they'll give you that as well as you go back for that education. But if they don't, or if you're yearning for more of it, come up, ask people to do that. I know our viticulturists are really good about doing that, and they love having people shadow them and learn about the process. And then, yeah, fall in love with your craft. Drink lots of wine, try different things. There is no wrong answers in wine. There's definitely some wrong answers when it comes to vineyard management and viticulture. So I should be careful about what I say. But at the same token, like, these vines grow like weeds. I mean, they are voracious. They grow out of rock, like I talked about. And if you give them a little bit of tender love and care, and sometimes even the more you stress them, the more beautiful the wines you get out of them. And so there are no wrong answers. Test, learn, test, learn, test, learn. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, and what more of an enjoyable thing to study than wine? Like I've just, since I've been here, I've learned so much, and you learn by tasting and by trying different wines. And I think you have a fun new endeavor you're going on.
Yeah, and Vern, if it is the Vern that I think it is, happy Father's Day to you too.
Sabrina just let us know it is the Vern Smith that you're talking about.
Nice, good to see you, Vern. It's been a while. Thanks for being such a good guy to my little sister along the way.
Time for maybe one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay.
I mean, there's Sabrina can tell us so that people, if everybody's left, then we'll just talk with each other right now, you know?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, this spit bucket is full. This is also this is a champagne bucket as well, multi-purpose vessel.
Is that a copper-colored Williams Sonoma spit pail?
Yes.
They just send you all the greatest stuff. Williams Sonoma.
Yeah.
Those kiddos are nice. We love those.
We love you guys a lot. Thank you for that pan. Thank you for this beautiful thing. We love copper things. Pretty much love everything that you have and you give us. Yeah. Okay. I'm really glad that I was able to pick this one. This is a really fun one. What is the oldest bottle of wine you've ever drank, and what was the occasion?
Good question.
I remember drinking an old one with you, but I don't remember if it was the oldest.
A little while back, we had a 1920 port that was 100 years old to celebrate New Year's, which was really fun. And that was an amazing bottle of wine, wasn't it? How it kept
that was wild.
And it was like brownish yellow.
Yeah.
And it still had these amazing secondary flavors coming out. When wines get that old, and this is port, so it's a little bit different from Portugal. It was a true port. The phenolic compounds start to break down, and you get into those secondary flavors. This one still had a lot of the primary flavors coming out, but then it also starts to take on like a nose. It was similar to a brandy almost smell on it, and you got a little bit of prune in there, and you start to get some of those flavors that you get in these older wines. You get old books in there and stuff like that. I had a Riesling wine from, this sounds crazy, but from the late 1800s. It was 150 years old when I tried it, and it was still keeping in amazing shape. And I just don't even get it, how a white wine like that lasted that long. It was 150 years old at the time. I had it in 2016. So it would have been a 1866 year. It was 1866 or 67. and I was blown away. I'd never had anything even close to that old.
Yeah.
Megan, my wife, and I had enjoyed a Zinfandel from Louis Martini that was 50 years old. That's the oldest bottle I've had in a restaurant that I ordered off the list. And it was on there for some special price. It was like oddly priced for like, it was still $100 or something, but it was a Zinfandel for 50 years before. Yeah. And that was one of the most fun wines. I've also had some early 1900s first growth Bordeaux that some friends have shared with me from the 20s and 30s and stuff. You know, talking Prohibition days, these wines that were bottled. It wasn't Prohibition over in France, so you can still find some of those wines. I've got a pretty old one back there. That's Eric's birth year. That's waiting for us. It's a Latour. So, but that's the oldest, 150 years old. One other thing that's worth noting, I have had a Madeira that was from the 1700s. A Madeira. These are wines that were like buried underground and they get dug up. So that was about 250 years old, that Madeira that I had. And that was excellent too. And that was at a fancy schmancy dinner. So I will say I've done come up on getting to try some good wines. And it's usually because some of my partners or friends are big collectors comparatively to me. I don't have any wines in my collection that are more than 15 years old. Yeah, other than I've got a few 1983s that Michael Mondavi brought me because that's my birth year, and he's the classy man that Michael is. Every time he comes to meet with me here, he brings me a bottle from my birth year. How cool is that?
I want to be able to do stuff like that one day. Dude, that's pretty legit.
If you're Michael, that's what you get to do, and that's why you leave a mark, and people always remember you. They're like, yeah, you know what Michael did for me one time? Michael does that consistently. He's an amazing man. So I've got a handful of 83s in the cellar in here that I'm waiting to open up with special time with people like you, Dan.
Oh, special. Thank you. Hell yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
I saw there's like some crazy cellar dust on one of those Behringer bottles.
Oh, yeah.
There's some wild stuff in there.
Those are coming from his personal cellar. Like that guy's got a library from every year, you know.
Please remember me on those occasions.
I definitely will. I don't know if the wines are still good, but you never know.
I bet they're great.
I bet they're pretty good. Let's do one more.
Okay, cool.
Are you still feeling this? Sabrina, you give us a thumbs up or the hook if we are. Is there any other questions on there that are coming in?
There's not yet, but I have like a million in here that I'm dying.
Let's do it. This is going to be a little bit of a longer one, but
yeah. Okay.
People are with me. I'm going to take you guys all the way up to 5 o'clock happy hour.
Yes.
So you can follow this with a true happy hour.
It's a good handoff too, just so there's no, dead time in between.
That's right.
Your Friday.
We started late, but we're going late. Don't worry about it, guys.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, Jake, what is one thing that most people don't know about you? One thing that maybe like, you just don't lead with, or something unique or funny, or what do you want to tell the world?
I didn't speak early on. I was very quiet as a little kid, and my mom thought that there might be like a formal reason for that, like I had a learning disorder or something along those lines. And so I didn't. I said very few words, and then she said when I finally started talking, it was like mid to late 2-year-old when I finally started saying more than just like single words and quietness. And then she said, and then I never was able to get you to shut up.
That was the next words out of my mouth. Not shut up, but haven't heard you stop since.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she said. And he hasn't stopped since. And I will say I was a really shy kid. I was, socially awkward. I was, I was aware enough to know that I wasn't, the cool social kid in the room.
You're super cool, by the way. You share your fancy wine with me. We hang out.
Well, I've come a long ways, but up until like around 7th or 6th grade, I really started breaking out of my shell. And it was in me all the way since grade school, but I was a really shy kid. I was not very talkative, and I wasn't very socially confident. I was confident in a lot of other things, but not socially. And then, something clicked, and a lot of that confidence came from being surrounded by people who gave me confidence, and my parents and stuff like that. So people wouldn't guess that with me. They'd assume that all my life I've just been a leader, and I've been always out front and the most talkative or the most likely to go up on stage and speak with people. And now I am that, but I wasn't that early on. I also really like baths, you know, I like taking baths.
I'm a bath
I'm a
person
bath
too.
person.
We've actually never talked about that.
Really?
It's not weird.
baths.
I
don't take them very often, but I love them.
I love baths. I live in a very small studio apartment, and my current studio has a bath, and the last smaller, like size of half of this coffee room, it had a bath.
Yeah.
And I'm a bath bombs. I don't want to get off on tangents, but there's a lot of good bath products out there. Namaste, Zen at the end of your day. Take a bottle of wine in that bath with you. Take some snacks. Bring a book. Like, it's a good wind down activity, and I have no shame. I'm glad you brought that up. Now that we know that about each other.
Our sparkling goes with bubble baths too.
Oh,
you know that?
it does. I think it says on
that's
the
what
bottle.
it says on the bottle.
Yes.
It says pairs well with bubble bath. So take a bubble bath. Do that.
We're wrong.
Dan, while you pull out one more thing,
yes.
Only because I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm kind of that person that like I process some things and then I wrap back.
Yeah.
Vern, if you're still watching, first off, man, you've been hanging with us for a while. You should come up to our vineyard and walk the vineyard with us. We'd love to have you up here. That's super cool that you're doing that. And cheers to you. Just an extra shout. Come up and check out the vineyard. We've got it right behind us, actually. I know it looks like Heaven's Gates or something is right behind us. It's like the light and aura behind us. There's actually a vineyard back there. It's just like a lot of bright light flowing through. So
yeah, a lot of bright light. Kind of
like
heaven.
It's kind of like heaven back there.
You probably saw me. I was definitely filtering these. I am like so stoked we're keep going, so I want them to be really good. They're all good in here. Anyway, I ramble a lot. That's something about me. Jake, what is the last book you read?
The last book.
You can say Harry Potter. It's fine. You read it like 7 times. You'll let me talk about it. We have a Harry Potter book.
I'll tell you what the book is that I'm in the middle of right now is The Long Walk to Freedom. And it's by Nelson Mandela. It's a autobiography, and it was suggested from one of the people in the community here. And I do audiobooks and things like that as well. But A Long Walk to Freedom, it's really cool. I'm still in the first half of it, but what an amazing life, you know, to get to hear about and to hear it from a first person perspective. I love biographies and autobiographies and nonfiction personally. But yeah, that's the one. And then I read a lot of business books and things like that as well. And I have a few favorites there, but whatever. There's also a great thing out there for anybody who's building a business, especially a direct consumer business, called the Growth Handbook. And we have everybody read that. It's not really a book per se, it's a fast read, and it's kind of in a PDF format, but it's called the Growth Handbook. And it's definitely one of the most dense quality books I've read or pieces of reading I've read from a business perspective. So, you know, Measure What Matters was a great book. Our whole team read that. And we continue to make reading books and stuff central to our learning here. I mean, it's amazing when you pick up a book and you get to read somebody's entire life work, you know, and everything that they learned over years and years, they condense down into 100, 200, or 300 pages. Pretty amazing. So
totally. I have one add-on comment. This is not about me, but I do have a book suggestion for Vern out there, because I'm currently reading Cork Dork by Bianca Bosker, and it's her journey to become a sommelier, to the point of the job that she worked at when she decided that she just wanted to begin totally without any prior experience, a journey and a career in wine. And so it's from that moment that she decided and why she decided to all through. I'm a slow reader, so I think I'm about 50 pages in, but it's really fun. And I'm doing a little bit of wine studying too right now, and it's a really cool supplement to that because it's super lighthearted, it's really fun, and it kind of feels like you're talking to a friend that's doing the same thing. So I think, Vern, that might supplement your studies a little bit if you're still watching and are looking for a book to read. But I love talking about books.
Nice. Let's check in with Sabrina and see if there's any more questions. And if no more questions, then we'll kind of wrap it up with some last thoughts here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
You good?
Don't see any more.
Is there one more burning question that you want to pick?
Yes.
Pick your favorite one, and then I'm gonna answer it, and then I'm gonna close up here with a little cheers to the grads and dads out there.
I got one. Okay, this is a good one. If there was a song to describe One Hope, maybe our team at One Hope, maybe what we do, what would it be?
Imagine by the Beatles. I will always remember we had an event out there in the meadow, and we donated our place and,
Yes.
and wine and everything like that with a great group called Jameson Animal Rescue Ranch, and they're building this rescue ranch. They already have it. They're just taking it to a whole nother level to house all the rescued animals around Napa. And I'm not talking the typical dogs and cats. I'm talking big animals, pigs, sheep, goats, horses, things like that. These beautiful, majestic animals that lost their homes in the fire and all these different things. And the woman, Monica, who runs it, she does amazing things around here. She runs one of the best wine clubs in Napa called 750 Wines. Anyhow, we had a Beatles cover band here, and Imagine, they actually didn't play Imagine during their whole set, and it was the end of it, and I think Hey Jude was the last song, and I loved that song, of course, and it's one of my favorites. But I went up and I requested one more song, Imagine, and our whole team kind of all gathered together. It wasn't like we had planned it or anything, but we were all in a love circle, and like Mari, if Mari's out there watching, she was like crying in joy, you know.
Tears were shed.
Tears were shed.
It was after a few glasses of wine. We were all feeling like it was a really safe space. It was really, I may have shed a tear. I don't know.
But I think Imagine really does sum it up. And for those of you who were on Founders Friday, I was talking about the idea of like this little small in the whole scheme of things community of thousands of people that we have in the community, and watching them interact with each other, and the warmth and love and support and all these things that you know are in all of us as humans, and you see in your own little inner circle family, you see with your closest friends, and then you see this group that can exist in a group of thousands of people, right? That all feel that way about each other, and they act that way with like great empathy and humanity. And so you imagine, like, what would it look like if the whole country looked that way right now? And it's certainly a time where the country doesn't look that way right now. And I think when you get these little glimpses to see a case study where it can work that way, and you see that it's possible with 1,000 people, you start thinking, what would it look like at 1 million people? Or what would it look like at 10 million people? Or what would it look like at 360 million people? And could the US really be that beacon of hope? And can we imagine a world that looks the way, first imagine a country that looks that way and treats each other that way, and then imagine a world that looks that way. And so I'd say hands down, that's why I can answer it so quickly, is Imagine would be that song. And there's a few others that I love, but I'd say that sums it up the best and speaks to my soul, and hopefully yours as well. And so with that, I'm going to close it up, Dan, and just say, we'll pull back over to here. Even though you're drinking the out of the coffee mug as a tribute to your dad, Albert, to all the dads that have had an impact on their kids' lives, on their wives' lives, on their parents' lives, and all the people around them. We're very thankful. You know, we are a company that is majority powered by women. We are led by women in this company, and it's no secret. You know, a lot of from our board to our executives to all the way to our cause entrepreneurs and our customers, we're a majority woman-run company, empowered company. But there's a ton of men out there who are dads and doing their part too. And it really takes great dads and great men to lift women up, and vice versa. And so if you are a dad out there, we are a brand for everybody. We speak to everybody. Our purpose to nourish the future speaks to everybody. Our mission that serves that purpose, to share wine and give hope, is for everybody. And so, and it's especially for moms and dads out there. I'm really one of the luckiest guys in the world to have such a good dad who is a great balance of teaching me all of the responsibility that comes along with being a man and being a good person, and had a really nice balance of having fun and giving me my space to run, but also knew when to pull back on the reins a bit. And so to all the dads who are doing the best they can out there, we cheers to you. And then secondly, the grads out there, and all the grads who worked really hard to educate themselves, to learn more, to be part of a more educated future. And for those of you who are the first graduates in your family, and hanging your hat on that, that's a big deal. For those people who are out there getting an education outside of, maybe you didn't graduate from college, but you're the first person getting an education in your family, education is how you break the cycle of poverty. And so I think between education and dads, those are two really powerful things, and not to get too serious from the fun wine tasting, but to truly give a tribute to the dads and grads out there. Cheers, Dan,
Cheers.
to you for being a great partner, and to all of you for being great supporters and lovers of One Hope. Continue to share wine, give hope, nurse the future. We love you, and we're out.
Cheers. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Go.